Thank you. What a beautiful sight. I love these big public events here where we get folks coming out wearing the t-shirts and showing support for the cause. And it's really beautiful that we have the ACLU in the house today. So thank you all so much for coming. As John mentioned, my name is Ben Feist. I'm Legislative Director. It's a great honor and privilege to be in this role. When I started in this position in 2013, the ACLU had approximately 8,500 members and supporters throughout the state, and one person dedicated to the legislative program. I am pleased to say that we've grown significantly as an organization over the years. Our members and supporters now total over 40,000 people, and we have a legislative team working overtime at the Capitol this session to fight for civil liberties. It is not lonely up here anymore. Thank you for that. This is an exciting time of year to be holding our lobby day. Friday is the third and final committee deadline for committees to act on finance and policy bills, so there's a lot going on at the Capitol today. I'm happy to say that all of our priority issues are still alive this session. Before I dig into these issues, it's important to note that the ACLU is a nonpartisan organization, and most of our issues have bipartisan support. Here at the legislature, we've worked effectively with both Democrats and Republicans on a number of important proactive issues, including criminal justice reform and reining in government surveillance. You'll be hearing from some of those partners today, including Senator Scott Dibble, Representatives Carlos Mariani, Eric Lucero, and John Lesh. You'll also hear the voices and stories of individuals impacted by our laws. Over the last several years, we've focused our legislative efforts on criminal justice and policing reform, freedom from unwarranted government surveillance, voting rights, and defending Minnesotans' First Amendment freedoms of speech and assembly. This session, we started with an aggressive legislative agenda and ended up going even bigger. At last count, we weighed in on over 20 different civil liberties-related issues. Today, we're going to focus on 4 ACLU priority issues. I think that's enough to send you out. First, the ACLU of Minnesota is a long-standing member of the Restore the Vote Coalition. In Minnesota, individuals with a felony conviction are barred from voting until they are fully off of supervision or probation. That can take decades. This impacts over 53,000 Minnesotans who are living, working, and paying taxes in the community but are not allowed to vote. Voting rights should be restored when people get out of prison, and this is the year to do it. Next. Thank you. While Minnesota is noted for its low incarceration rate compared to other states, we have the 5th highest probation rate in the country. Shockingly, people in Minnesota can serve up to 40 years on probation. At any point during that time, a person can be sent back to prison for minor technical violations. We support an effort to cap probation at 5 years in most circumstances. Probation should be limited to the time it takes to achieve rehabilitation, accountability, and public safety. A version of this bill was recently included in Chair Mariani's Public Safety Omnibus Bill, and you'll be hearing from him shortly. Third, we support the efforts of the Fines and Fees Coalition to stop suspending driver's license for failure to pay a ticket. If someone gets a traffic ticket and can't afford to pay it, they can quickly end up with escalating fines and fees, a suspended driver's license, and increased insurance costs. Suspending a license for failure to pay fines and fees disproportionately hurts low-income people. Finally, we are a member of the Freedom to Drive Coalition, which advocates for allowing all Minnesotans, regardless of immigration status, to obtain a driver's license. This effort will lead to safer roads while allowing undocumented immigrants in Minnesota to live, work, and travel with dignity. I'm happy to report that this bill passed the full House of Representatives last Friday. bills received the necessary hearings in the House this year, and they're currently in omnibus bills. None of these bills, however, received a hearing in the Senate, though they remain alive for end-of-session negotiations. And we're here today to put pressure on to make sure this happens. I'd also like to highlight some of the other issues we're working on. We're advocating on forfeiture reform, cash bail reform, a warrant requirement for drone surveillance by law enforcement, electronic communications privacy, employee social media privacy, legalization of recreational marijuana, done right, net neutrality, post-conviction relief, and a ban on so-called conversion therapy, to name a few. We're also opposing a handful of issues, including moving Minnesota to provisional ballots in our elections and a 20-week abortion ban. Make no mistake, we couldn't do all of this without the support of our members and activists like you. We work hard every day testifying on bills, lobbying on our positions, and strategizing with coalition partners. Legislators often appreciate our expertise in advocacy, but what really counts is hearing from constituents that protecting and advancing civil liberties is a priority. That's where all of you come in. After this rally, you can make your voices heard by speaking directly with your legislators. Your action and commitment to civil liberties helps to elevate our work, and it really does make a difference. I look forward to seeing the sea of ACLU t-shirts all over the Capitol today. Thanks again for joining us and fighting for our rights.